So now look at this program. Uh, we are creating a class called demo. We're creating a class called demo, and in that class I'm creating three variables: a, b, and c. A is assigned a value 10, b is assigned a value 20, and c is assigned the value of sum of a and b. And I put this comment. Let us remove it now. And we are defining one method, display method. It doesn't have any parameters. And what I am doing in this method is I am using a statement self.c and assigning value 50 to that self.c. So when I print the value of c, simply c is all these three variables are nothing but class variables, right? They are not object variables. So they are simply class variables. So how to access these class variables? If it is inside the method or outside the class, we have to use a class name, that is demo.c or demo.a, demo.b, like that you have to access it. But you are within the class, but you are outside the methods of the class. Like this, here you can write a statement here. Then you need not use any class name or anything. Directly you can use the variable name c and print its value. So the print statement will print a plus p value, that is 10 plus 20 is 30. And coming to the display method, when I use self.c, the self.c is not same as that of the c variable, right? We have discussed yesterday this one. So this self.c is nothing but an object variable, whereas this c is a class variable. So when you assign self.c is equal to 50 and print self.c here, the value 50 will be printed. The value 50 will be printed, and here the c value will be printed as 30. So let me show you that output. So first print statement, which is outside the method, is printing what? The value c as 30. So it is a class variable c. And coming to this self.c, this is a object variable. Okay, so I can access this value in the print statement and this will print 50. But what if I don't create this statement here? If I don't create this statement here, and now I'll access it, I'll print this value. So what is it printing? 30. So when you don't create an object variable with that same name c in that method using self argument, then when you use self.c, then the self.c will be considered as this class variable c. Okay, instead of self.c you can also use class name as demo.c also. So now also you'll get the same. So that means what? When you have two or more variables with same name, but those two variables are different, that means one is a class variable and the other one is a object variable. And when you try to access that variable, object variable, with self.c self argument, then the first preference will be given for object variable. So if there is an object variable created in your program, then that object variable value will be displayed here if you use self.c. Okay, and if no object variable is created like this here, then this self.c will refer to which one? This class variable c. Okay, so all these three are class variables, a, b, and c. Okay, so I hope you understood the concept. When there are class variables as well as object variables, and if one class variable name is same as that of a object variable in that class, then when you use self argument for referring to that variable, it gives priority to the object variable. That means when you use self.c, object variable c's value will be displayed or accessed. But if there is no object variable with that name c, then there is only class variable c. Yesterday we were accessing the class variable c's value with the name of the class demo dot variable name. But instead of using the class name, you can also use self keyword. But when you can do that, if there is no object variable with that same name, then only you can do that. If there is an object variable with same name, then you cannot use self keyword to access the class variable c. Okay, got it or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so outside the class I am declaring, I am creating a object called obj for class demo and simply calling the display method. So the display method will print the self.c variable value. Because there is no object variable created here, it is commented here, so the class variable c's value will be printed. If there is object variable created here, then this c's value, that is 50, will be displayed. Fine. Then so let us look at this program, one more program. So I'm creating a class called variables, and in that I'm creating a is equal to 10, a variable, and assigning it a value 10. So now what type of variable is this one? This is a class variable, because I'm declaring and creating it outside the method. So this is a class variable. Then look at this method. So this is not actually a defined normal method defined in class. This is a constructor method. Yesterday we were discussing it, right? So like in Java, the constructor will not have uh, the same name as that of the class name. Instead, we'll have a method name with its name as double underscore init double underscore. And coming to these constructors here, a constructor can be either a parameterized constructor or a non-parameterized constructor. So let me show you one more program before this. I'll give you introduction to constructor. So what is a constructor? This method which will be defined in any class, double underscore init double underscore followed by the parenthesis. This method is called as a class constructor. So this will be automatically executed when an object is created for the class. You need not make a call to it. So you know, even in Java also, soon after you create a object for a class, automatically the default constructor for that class gets invoked and executed. So similarly, even this init method here, because it is a constructor here, it will be automatically executed when an object of a class is created. Then what is its purpose? As it is in Java, it is used to initialize the variables of the class object. So similarly here also, you can use this init method to initialize the variables of the class object, right? So I'm defining a class called init demo here, and I may have some object variables for the class. So those object variables can be initialized by using the init method, that is nothing but the constructor. Okay, so I'm defining the constructor here. Use the same definition keyword def followed by space double underscore init double underscore, and within the parenthesis by default you must have self keyword. And additionally, if you want to give any keyword, any parameters to be passed to this constructor, you can mention them by separating them with comma and give a colon symbol, and then use indentation to write the statements which you want to put inside this init method. So I'm creating two uh, object variables. One is a and the other one is b, self dot a self dot b, and I'm initializing them with the values of x and y, where x and y are parameters to the constructor init. Then I'm printing the sum value by displaying self dot a plus self dot b. So when I create an object, how I'm creating an object? object name is equal to init demo class name. So this is going to call which one? The constructor in that is nothing but init method. Automatically this will be invoked. But earlier we didn't use this init method, right? Even then we were able to create an object for that constructor. So what is happening there? By default, you'll have a constructor like in Java, but it is not going to initialize with any values. All the object variables are class variables. Okay, so only that is the difference. So even without this init method also we can create an object for the class, but in Python here, so we can do that without the init method being defined explicitly by the programmer in his class. Even if you don't do that also it will work. So that means what? There will be a default constructor for that which will not receive any parameters. That's the meaning of it. But it is not going to instantiate or initialize any object variables with some zero values or something like it is in Java. Okay. So I'm using a constructor here. I'm defining a constructor here and I'm creating two object variables and initialize them with x and y respectively, where x and y are parameters to the constructor method init. Then I'm displaying the sum. And when creating an object, just inside the parenthesis, earlier you were leaving this parenthesis blank. Now pass those two parameters x and y, right? So I'm passing 20 and 30. So 20 will be copied into A and 30 will be copied into B, and when you display some value 20 plus 30, it will be displaying 50. So the output sum is 50. So very simple. Defining a constructor in your C program, in your Python program is, in your Python class is very simple. Simply follow the same syntax that you follow for defining a method. So use the keyword def, then followed by, you must use double underscore symbols, then followed by the word init, and then again two double underscore. This is very important. If you remove any of these double underscores or one double underscore after it or before it, you will get an error for this one. And as usual, for definition, for any function or for any method, we will be having the self keyword, right? So that must be the first one. So even for this constructor also, self must be the first parameter. If the self is the only parameter to that init method, then it means that it is not receiving any parameter. That is the meaning of it. If there are parameters after the self also, then it means, it indicates that it receives some parameter, and this is, and it is a parameterized constructor. Okay, so now that you understood how to create a constructor, we'll get back to that previous program we opened. So this is variables. So the class here is variables. I'm creating a class variable called A and assigning a value 10 for it. Then I'm defining the constructor here, def followed by init, and one parameter it is receiving, that is x value. Then I'm creating an object variable called s, self.s, and assigning the value x, the value of x to self.s, and simply printing that value of s. Okay, but look at the statements that are written outside the class, and remember one important point here: we are not using indentation for these statements because all these highlighted statements are outside the class, like in our normal Python program where we didn't use classes and object concept, how we have written the code. So in the same way you write this code, and the program execution begins from here only. Then when you create an object, then using that object, if you call the methods, then the program execution goes to that place and continues execution and returns back from where you call that method. So that is how execution flow takes place. Okay, so first I'm creating an object called obj, and because the constructor receives one parameter, I'm passing 15 for it. Then I'm printing obj.a. obj.a. So what is obj.a? So we have created a class variable a, right? So what is this going to do? So a value what we have given, 10, right? So first, because the constructor is invoked, constructor will print the s value, where s value is 15, so you will get as output 15. But after that you are getting 10 as output, so this print statement is printing the value 10. So what is that a? It is a class variable. So here also you are using object to refer to the class variable. So you must understand one important point here. Yesterday in yesterday's program, to refer to that class variable, I have used the name of the class. So instead of obj, I can use name of the class variables. Name of the class variables. Okay, but instead of that, if you want, you can use the object name also to refer to that a. But if there are two a variables in the class, one is class variable and the other one is object variable, then when you use obj.a, this will refer to the object variable. So when there are no object variables with the name a, so this obj.a will refer to which one? The class variable a. So just like in the previous program we discussed, when you are using self keyword to access a variable name in your class, within the class, if there is no object variable with that name, then it can be used to refer to class variable with that name. But if there is an object variable, then that will be referred instead of class variable, right? So similarly here also, if there is no object variable with name a, then when you use the object of the class and refer to that variable name, then this will refer to class variable. But if there is an object variable, say here if I define, instead of s, if I define a here, self dot a, so now what will self dot a be? And here I will change it to a. So if I run this program now, what will be displayed? Obj dot a, it will display 15, right? Because there are two variables now, one is object variable, this is object variable. So when there are two variables, one is object variable and the other one is class variable with the same name, and when you use object to access that variable outside the class, it refers to the object variable. But when there is no object variable with that name, it refers to which variable? Class variable. Okay. Uh, so that is one important point you need to understand from this program. Then in the second print statement, what I am doing, print variables dot a. So this is alternative way to access the class variable name. So this will definitely access only class variable. This will definitely access class variable. So that's the reason why you are getting what? 10 as output. Even though there is object variable also, but which value you are getting? 10. Okay. So now let me put this in comment. Put this class variable in the class in comment. So what I am getting? I am getting a error. So what is that error type? Object variable has no attribute a. So these class variables that you create, they'll be called with some other name in Python called attributes, right? We can call them as attributes also. Okay, so you are getting an error because there is no class variable. So using a class name, you can only refer class variables, but using an object, you can refer both class variables as well as object variables. And when both are there with same name, when class variable is there and object variable is there with same name, then priority will be given for object variable. If there is no object variable with that name, then class variable will be referred, right? So 2 points to remember: variables, class name, using a class name, you can only refer to class variables, you cannot refer to object variables. Then what I am doing in the next statement, I am modifying the value of a, class variable a, to 30. So here class variable a is initialized with what? 10. When I call this statement, when this statement is executed, variables dot a is equal to 30, the previous value of a, that is 10, will be erased and the new value will be 30. The new value will be 30, right? Then what I am doing, if I try to print that new variable value now here, print, so what is this going to print? This is going to print the value 30. Before this statement, when I printed the value of a using class name, it printed 10, right? Now I modified it, and after that, if I use the same print statement, this will display 30. So let me execute it and show it to you. See, 15, 15, 10, and now you're getting 30. You're getting 30. So first print self dot a will print 15, then obj.a value will be also printed as 15, then variables.a will print 10, then after that you're getting 30, right? So this print statement is printing 30. Then in the next statement I am creating one more variable, say obj1, and this time I am passing 25. So to whom I am passing? The constructor x, so that will be assigned to a. So if I print obj1.a now, this will print what? 25. So you get 25, and you are also printing the same 25 even in the constructor also. So that will print what? 25. So two times you'll get, once in the constructor, this is this one, and second time here with this one, right? But now if you print again object variable, sorry, class variable, will this class variable value change? It will not change, right? So this will be now I'll put this in comment, for example, or I'll change this a to s. Instead of variables dot a, I'll use obj1. So what will be the output for the last print statement? It must be 10, right?
And yes,
Two print statements. Yeah, but it must be 30, not 10, because we are modifying it here, right? Earlier, first we are initializing it with 10 in the class, but later we are modifying it here with variable ci is equal to 30, right? So it will be modified. So with any object you access, you can create any number of objects, and using any object you try to access that class variable, that class variable value will be same, because the class variable will be shared by all the objects. Okay, whereas object variables, they are exclusive for that object only. So if I create obj have will have its own copy of this object variable s, and similarly when I create obj1, obj1 will have its own copy of that s. Even when I used, instead of s, when I used a also, obj object has its own copy of a, for which the value of a is given as 15, and as far as obj1 is concerned, the value of a is given as 25, right? They have their own copy, but this class variable a will be same irrespective of whether you are accessing it with obj or obj1, because it is shared by all the objects. That's the meaning of class variable, right? So class variable will be only one in copy, whereas object variables will be exclusively available for each and every object that you create. If you create n number of objects, each and every of those n object will have its own copy of that object variable, right? So to demonstrate that, I've written this program. Okay, Hope you understood. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now look at this another program. So let us analyze this program. So a class with name class obj is created, and a class variable a is created with value 10, and constructor is defined with one parameter x. Okay, then I am assigning this x to object variable x. So what is this self dot x? Self dot x is nothing but object variable, where normal x is nothing but the parameter passed to the constructor. Then I'm printing self dot a and self dot x. So self dot a means what? Which value? This one, right? Class variable will be accessed, and self dot x means object variable. Okay, so if you look at the objects that I created, first I created obj object for class obj, and I'm passing 10. So because I'm passing 10, this x will be having 10, and that x value is assigned to self dot x. So now both the class variable a and object variable self dot x both will have same value 10. So when you print these two the values using print statement, both of them will print the same 10 10. Okay, first two values are 10 and 10. Then after the object is created, I'm making a call to I'm printing a statement, and I'm accessing variable a. So do you have any object variable a? You don't have object variable here, but you have class variable here, right? So what is this going to print? The variable class variable a's value 10. So that is the reason why even the third value output is also 10. Then coming to the next one, class obj dot a. So what is this class obj? It is the name of the class, and I'm accessing the variable a. Variable a value was initially 10. Class variable a value is 10. Now that class variable a is modified to 20. So this 10 will be now erased, and it will be 20. Okay, then I am printing the value of a class variable using class obj dot a. After that, I am creating another object called obj1. So when you print this one, what will be the output? This print statement, this will print 20, right? Because we have modified it. So after the third 10, you will have 20. Then obj1 object is created for the same class again. This time I am passing 5. So x value will be 5. Self dot x will be 5 as far as obj1 is concerned, and self dot a will be 20, right? So what is this going to print? It is going to print a value as 20, but x value as what? 5. So that's the reason why you're getting 20 and 5. Okay, then again I'm modifying this class variable a value to 30. So now if I print class obj.a, this will print 30. Okay, this is just more practice to get habituated to this Python style of programming, uh, and uh, thoroughly understanding object variables and class variables, because if you just write one program and leave it, you'll forget it. So to know about it and to memorize these things, if you write more and more programs, then you will know the difference, and it will be automatically memorized for you. You need not by heart it, right? So when you practice more, automatically it will be memorized. Fine. So this is one more practice program. I think this program yesterday we have written, right? So now look at this program. So till now all the programs we have created only one class, right? So now in this program I'm defining two classes, that means multiple classes. So one class, the first class is circle class till here. Then after that a second class called demo class is created till here, and we are creating object for demo class. We are not creating any object for circle class. Okay, so first let us go through what is defined in both the classes and then come back to this object creation. So if you look at the first class circle, I'm creating a class variable called pi, assigning it a value 3.14. Then the constructor is defined in it method, and I'm initializing object variable called r, self.r with r. So this is just like in a constructor, this dot r is equal to r. Okay, so in the same way self dot r is equal to r, where r is the parameter passed to the constructor and self dot r is the object variable. Then I'm defining a method called area. I'm defining a method called area, and it doesn't have any parameter, it has only the default self parameter. Then I'm creating a variable area is equal to circle dot pi into self dot r into self dot r. So what is this? It is nothing but the formula for finding the area of a circle, right? Pi r square, where pi is defined as a class variable, right? Pi is defined as a class variable, right? So I'm using circle dot pi into self dot r into self dot r. So this can be rewritten as self dot r uh, exponent operator 2. Yesterday we have written, I think, right? So in that way we can do that one. So I'm calculating the area of the circle and storing in this variable area, and then I'm returning that area. So this has a return type, so return statement is there. Then coming to the next method, the next method is perimeter. It is nothing but circumference of a circle. So directly in the return statement I am writing 2 into circle dot pi into self dot r. Okay, then coming to the demo class, I'm defining one method. There is no constructor defined, so I'm defining one method called access circle. It doesn't have any parameter, only the self parameter is there. Then here I'm creating an object for circle class. So that means what? It is not mandatory that you have to create an object for a class only outside of all the classes. We have been creating an object for the class outside of all the classes, right? You can also create object for another class in one class. So I'm creating object for circle class inside demo class, but for demo I'm creating it outside. So what you must understand, if there are multiple classes defined in your Python file, then at least for one class you need to create an object outside of all the classes, right? Otherwise what will happen if I'm not creating this one? For example, if I'm not creating this object here and I'm not making a call here, then will the code inside this definite methods in the classes circle and demo be executed? It will not be executed, right? So the methods that are part of any class will be executed only when an object for them is created and called, right? If you are creating an object for circle class inside demo class, you will be able to call the circle class methods, but who will call the demo class method, right? So there you must have some mechanism to call this demo class method. If it is Java, we have the main method. Automatically the main method will be invoked when you run your Java program. But Python is not like that. It does not have any starting point of execution. It does not have a main method kind of a thing, right? So automatically the program execution begins from the lines of code that you write outside of all the classes and functions. So this is the only part where you wrote some code which is outside of all the classes and methods and functions. So execution will begin from these statements. So here you must create an object for at least one class, any of those classes, and try to call other class members from that class at least. If it is not possible, you can create objects even for both the classes outside the class itself, here itself. But to show you that you can create objects for one class in another class, I'm demonstrating here and I've written the program in that way. Okay, so now I'll remove this one. So access circle, after creating OB object for a demo class, I'm making a call to access circle method. So this access circle method will be invoked, and the statements inside this access circle method will be executed. So what you're doing in access circle method, you're creating an object for circle. Then using a print statement, area of circle is, and you are calling ob1.area. So ob1.area method will be called, and this method will return what? The circle area of the circle. So that will be printed here. Then in the next print statement, perimeter of circle is ob1.perimeters, and this method will be called, and this will return what? The perimeter of the circle. As such, you are getting output this way: 78.5 and 31.4000 sum 2. Okay, so this program demonstrates you how to create multiple classes and create objects for those multiple classes. So if you don't want to create the object for circle here, you can create it here also. You can create, say, like this. Here also you can create, right? It is your interest, your purpose, that which for your writing program, for which you are writing the program. And then uh, depending on that, you can create objects either outside of the class or inside some other class. But if you are creating an object for one class inside another class, that another class must be uh, methods must be called right from outside the class. So at least for that class you need to create an object. So that is what we are doing here. Because inside demo class access circle method, you are creating object for circle. So until you call access circle, you will not be able to make a call to circle methods, that is area and parameters, right? So that's the reason why I'm creating object for only demo class here, and then calling access circle. Then access circle will in turn create object for circle and make a call to the methods in the circle class, right? So I'm erasing this one. um, Let me write here instead of this one. Is here. Okay, so this will be only when you use the variable name exactly matching with the method name. If you use a, for example, this will not work. If you are using a, then you have to use self.a. Okay, so this will be applicable only for when you are using the name of the class as the name of the variable. So here if I give self.area, this will not work. It is generating an error for me, right? Self.a. area, bound method circle, object at so and so. This is memory location address it is giving. I'm getting. So if I use self dot area, then I'm getting here. So when you are using only the variable name area without the self keyword, then I cannot access its value with the object like this ob1 dot area. So in that case, I have to use I have to just make a call to this method. I can only make a call to the area method. I cannot directly refer like this one, right? If you want to refer that variable area like this, then you must use self keyword here, self dot area. Okay, fine. So if you are not using self dot area, then you cannot access like this. You can only access uh, like this. You can call the method and the method will return the value. Fine. Okay. So, so we have learned here today how to access class variables and object variables, and when there are multiple variables in a class, one of them is class variable, the other one is object variable, and both of them has same name, then when we use object to refer to that, it will be referring what, it will be giving priority to the object variable first. But if you are using object to call the class variable, uh, but there is no matching object variable in the class with that name, then it will refer to class variable. So similarly, when you are using self keyword can be used to access a object variable's value. If that object variable is not there matching with that name, then it will be used to check whether if there is any class variable matching with that name, and that will be accessed using a self keyword. So using self code is within the class. Using the object name to call the class variable will be outside the class. So these two things first we discussed in the previous programs, and now in this program we are creating multiple classes and creating object at least for one class outside the classes. So when there are multiple classes in your program, you cannot create you just cannot leave creation of objects entirely inside the class. At least for one object you need to create uh, for one class you need to create object outside the class, and the remaining classes you can create objects within some other class, but that some other class must be the one for which you created object outside the class. Otherwise your program will not run properly. Okay, and this peculiar behavior that we have observed here, I didn't use self keyword here, but still my program is working fine. But when I try to access the variable area like this, it is generating an error for me in that particular line where I am trying to access. Okay, so use only method call here. If you want to access the variable area value, then here you must use self keyword, self dot area, and this must also be self dot area. Okay, so this is a peculiar behavior. So now this will work because the name of the variable a is not exactly matching with the function name area. The function name area. Okay. So I'm giving a different variable name a here. Instead of area, I'm giving a. So why this will happen? Because if there is a variable with same name as that of function name that is created in your class, so this problem will occur. So always see that when you create classes and add methods into those classes and create some variables, all the names of the variables and classes and methods are different. Don't give same name, don't use same name, right? So for this class, what is the name of the class? Circle. Okay. And method name is area. And variables, you have one class variable pi that is different, and here I'm creating a variable called a here, so this is also different. So this will be fine for me. But if I try to create a variable like this area, then comes a problem. This is matching exactly with method name area. So method name is area, and object variable name is also created as area. So then you will get a problem. Fine. So in that case, there is a solution for avoiding this problem. Instead of making a call to that variable directly outside the class, when you want to access it, you can access its value by making a call to that method only. You can call that method, and if that method returns a value, then there is no problem. Okay. So avoid using same names for classes, variables, and methods. Don't think that because that is anyhow method will not get any problem. Even Java also you cannot do this way. So if you create a class with some name, and if you are creating a method with that name, that must be only a constructor, it cannot be a method. And if you create a method, and if you create a variable also inside that class, then that variable name must not be exactly same as that of method. You will get a compilation error if it is in Java. Okay. So remember this point. So always use different names for object variables and class variables and methods and classes. Don't use same name, even though they are of different constructors, that means constructs. One of them is variable, one of them is method, the other one is class name. Even though they are of different entities, don't try to use the same name, right? Fine. So now today you have learned how to create multiple classes and create objects and access the methods, right? And one more thing additionally you have learned is how to use a constructor. So now there will be a little bit of confusion when you start writing Python programs from now onwards, because object oriented programming concepts came into picture. So you'll learn new concepts every day, but you'll get confused every time a new topic is introduced. You'll be in a dilemma, or you'll be in a confusion. So there will be some ambiguity. So to lose all that confusion and to avoid all that ambiguity and confusion, what you need to do is you need to practice more. Till now whatever programs you have written are very simple. Even now also it is simple. If you have already done Java programming, then it is nothing if you are doing it in Python. But Python, coming to object oriented programming concept, there will be a little bit of confusion. Java will have more clarity in object oriented programming concepts. Even though the program length will be more, the Java program length will be more, but there will not be any ambiguity and confusion when you are writing a Java program. Everything will be crystal clear. But when you are using object-oriented programming concepts in Python, so you'll get lot of confusion. So there will be something called class variable, there will be something called object variable. But coming to Java, these class variables are referred with the keyword static. So you can understand that this is a class variable, and you can only call that variable only using a class name. So there is no confusion. And coming to normal variables, if they are instance variables, you have to definitely access them using objects only. There is no other alternative way, there is only one way. So that is a no confusion there. And if there are local variables declared inside a method definition of a class, then you cannot access that direct variable name outside the class using even object also. It will not be permitted. You can only call the method, and inside that method only you can access that local variable. So there is no any confusion, there are no multiple ways in that way, so that you will be confused. So that will be more clear in Java. But coming to Python, just before we were discussing, if I am creating class variable with same name and object variable with same name, it is permitting me, but Java will not permit you. There is no ambiguity concept, but Python will permit you. But Python, if you are using self keyword, it becomes object variable. If without using self keyword, if you declare a variable outside a class, then it will become class variable. But in Java, if you want to make a variable a class variable, that is static variable, you need to use a keyword, static keyword, right? So in that way, you'll not feel any ambiguity and you'll not find any confusion there, even though the length of the program may be uh, more because of those braces and all. We have to open brace for everything. For class we need to open the brace, for method we need to open the brace, for loops we need to open the brace, so the length will increase. But coming to Python, that is not the case. We don't have braces and all, so programs will look shorter when compared with that of Java. And Java also uses some lengthy procedures for some performing some operations, but Python has built-in library functions, more functions available. Simply you can achieve that functionality by single line of code in Python. So that's the reason why the code written in Python will become shorter when compared with that of Java, right? So new topics will be introduced. There will be something called attributes, built-in attributes for classes. So we'll see in the next class, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll see what are those built-in attributes. What is an attribute? A variable declared here inside a class outside a method, that is called as an attribute, right? Even the object variable that you create, that will also be considered as an attribute only. But every class will have some built-in attributes. We'll see how to use those built-in attributes. And also there is one method called delete method, which will be similar to a destructor concept. If you have learned C++, then you'll understand about it, where in Java you don't have the concept of destructor. So if you didn't learn C++, then that concept of destructor will be a new one for you, because Java does not support destructors. It will have only constructor, it will not have destructor. And coming to other topics, inheritance and all, Java does not support multiple inheritance, but multiple inheritance will be achieved by using another concept called interfaces. So coming to Python, it will support. And interfaces are there in Python, but you'll not be able to do much with interfaces. We'll not deal with that interfaces. Literally saying, if you want to use interfaces, we need to download something, some other packages, special packages, and install them by using pip command in Python. Then only you'll be able to use them. Otherwise, you'll not be able to use them. But coming into Java, interfaces can be created or by our own, and there are some predefined interfaces also. You need not download additional software for that. Your JDK itself will have that interfaces, built-in interfaces. If you want to create your own interface, then you can do that by defining your own interface by using the keyword interface. Just like how you define class, you can create interface there, right? So same thing here you can do, but will not deal with that interfaces. Python will not uh, depend much on interfaces as Java does. Okay, so literally we can say Python will not use interfaces. We'll use most of the time only classes. So you'll see in inheritance concepts, exception handling concept. Exception handling concept is pretty simple in Python when compared with Java. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see some more concepts, but